world full of Uniteds.
It is a magic moment from Heung-min Son!
Cities.
Through to Lucas Moura!
And Rovers.
Harry Kane! Oh, what a goal!
There is only one Hotspur.
It's glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur!
Hello and welcome back to the One Hotspur podcast. I'm Toby from _Spurs Center, and today I'm joined by the marvelous Bodhi from Hotspur.industry. How you doing, Bodhi?
Oh, you're too kind. Thank you. How's yourself?
I'm doing all right. Today we're going to be going over that 1-1 draw yesterday with Leyton Orient and putting some perspective on it. I don't think we're going to be overreacting like some of those other Spurs fans out there have, and some of the other people in the pod even claiming that we'll get relegated next season. But yeah, we're going to go through that, and then we'll preview our upcoming game against Colchester. And then after that, we will talk about some transfer rumors. So yeah, let's jump right into it. What were your thoughts going to the game yesterday, and how do you think the team performed overall?
I was a lot more confident. I was a bit overconfident, really. But you'd be as confident as I was as well if you're playing Orient.
Yeah.
But I only actually managed to watch about 30 minutes of the game because I had a lot of Wi-Fi difficulties.
Oh yeah.
But for the 30 minutes I watched, I saw it was a bit sloppy. I mean, it's pre-season for reasons to get your sharpness up and whatever else, but it caught me off guard a bit. I mean, from what I learnt that game, Scarlett and Niall, I had no clue who Niall John was before pre-season. Really, I didn't really have much of an understanding of who he was. I knew he was a Tottenham player, but I didn't know how good he was until I watched him play, and then I was like, he's gonna be a baller. Just Skip, Alfie Devine, and
Dane Scarlett.
Well, Niall? Oh, that's a midfield. That's a dream midfield, and they're all English as well. So
yeah, that's a good point.
I was very happy with Niall John playing well. Scarlett. I was a bit bummed out to not get play, but I mean that's understandable. He has just recovered from injury, so something that did catch me off guard was Carter Vickers. He didn't seem too bad when I saw him.
No,
I didn't see much,
well.
but from what I saw he put in a great challenge. He put in a great challenge that was falsely claimed as a penalty, not penalty, a free kick. But some things that hasn't changed is Dyer's still shit. Ali's still a bit sloppy, and yeah, that's basically all I can say because I didn't watch too much. So, but from what I gathered, it showed a lot of promise. I didn't watch any more of the game after the whole team got subbed. So you'd only be able to talk about them that came on. But was Alfie Devine
yeah, he did get on. He didn't get much time. I think he didn't get on the ball as much. We were, you know how when you sub players on, the tempo kind of drops for a bit before they acclimate. Since we subbed on an entire new team, there was the tempo just dropped so much. It was really hard to build back up. And then eventually, I feel like in the last 6 or 7 minutes, we really took control of the game and we're playing some really nice football, to be honest with you. But then we just couldn't score, which was unfortunate, but it's okay. I thought, hold on, sorry, I have to check the lineup because I keep forgetting this guy's name. Whoever was playing right winger, I think that was hold on, looking. Mundle. I thought he played well. Clark had a really good Clark got into the box. He did a little shimmy and then pushed it out with his right foot, and he got past 2 defenders with that. It was incredible. Unlucky not to score. Another defender came in and blocked his shot, but yeah, I think overall they showed a lot of promise. But just going back to the points you made, Niall John, the way he took that ball out of the air from Winks through ball to him, up and over the defender, was really impressive. I mean, I think that shows a lot of class to me. And, we've said in the past, like form is temporary, class is permanent. So to be showing like that kind of confidence on the ball in your first ever senior start with the Tottenham team, it's pretty impressive. And then again, later in the game, he had a nice little turn and then fired a shot at goal, which the shot itself went pretty much straight at the keeper, but the technique on it and to get into the space, like right on the edge of the 18-yard box, was impressive nonetheless. So yeah, and I think the next thing you said was
I think
about
the shot he took was more.
which one?
I think the shot that Nal John took was more. Sorry, I think the shot that Nal John took was more of a It was a shot. It was more of just. It was not hit. I wouldn't say hidden hope, but it was more. He wanted. He didn't.
Testing the keeper.
It was at a distance to where he wouldn't. Yeah, he was
Mhm.
at a distance to where he wouldn't be able to place it. Top corner keeper would have probably had it because from
Mhm.
from a far distance, it's tough to place it so perfectly, and even then, a
Yeah.
keeper could save it. So
Mhm.
I think he was just kind of hitting it really hard, trying to see how the
Yeah.
keeper would handle it, and if
Mhm.
and if he had any luck
And
in
it is a League Two keeper, so
maybe scoring.
Mhm. Yeah, and actually,
Yeah.
credit to hold on, I'm not sure what his name is, but the Leyton Orient keeper, hold on, Lawrence Vigoro. Credit to him, he was fantastic. I thought made quite a few good saves. Got nutmegged by Scarlett for his goal, but other than that, he was on it. Didn't show any signs of being in like a preseason match, but yeah, I think overall, our players showed a lot of class. I think it is disappointing though that our best players in the game were probably Niall John and Dane Scarlett. When we have those four senior attacking players or four senior players that should have been really doing better. Dele was off it by a mile. Winks was mediocre at best. Bergvine couldn't get on the ball to save his life. And Mora was okay. Mora was pretty. Actually, I'll say Mora was solid. He got a nice assist. He did attack the other side when he got the chance. So yeah, that's what I'd say about them in general. Dyer was fine. I don't think he did anything too bad. I mean, they weren't really challenged. Carter Vickers and Dyer, whilst they were on the field. The only thing I would say about the defense was I thought Pascozzi was brilliant. I think he showed a lot of class. I'm repeat myself with that. But yeah, I mean, for him, that was his first ever appearance for the senior team. So I think, yeah, it was just a solid performance from him. And then on the other side, Callum Cisse, he was all right. He didn't really get a lot of chances to get forward, but he was, yeah, kind of just all right. And going into the subs, you said you didn't really get to watch, so I was just gonna go through them really quickly. Ioma was all right, playing left back, didn't do much. Leons Foster playing on the right side, he was really solid. One thing I can think of from him and his performance yesterday was a through ball I think got played and it was kind of mishit, so it was just going too far and basically the defender was able to collect it or was about to collect it. And then Leons Foster just comes in from the side, totally knocks him off the ball and gets in and puts in a nice cross. So that was nice from him. And then Amole and Fagan Walcott, I think it was Amole who just kind of kept dropping and allowed that Leyton Orient goal to take place. And then he either has to put a little more faith in himself or faith in Fagan Walcott that he can come and clean it up if he messes up, but he should have stepped sooner. But I think once again, for his first appearance for the senior side, Fagan Walcott actually made lack of experience there really. But Fagan Walcott made his senior debut or debut. Sorry, I always mix up that word. But a couple seasons ago against RB Leipzig, he got subbed on in the dying stages of that game. Bowden was all right. He had one nice shot that was saved. Devine, like I said earlier, just didn't get on the ball at all. Mundell was pretty impressive. He was driving forward a lot, cutting in on his left. I don't know if he's a left-footed, but he showed promise. And then Harvey White, I thought he was solid. He got on the ball a lot. I think he really dictated the tempo. And I think if White had been on instead of Winks in the first half, it could have gone a lot better for us. I think we could have been up 2 or 3 goals. I already said Clark was solid, and Parrott didn't get on the ball at all, and he was the one who lost who kind of played an accidental through ball for their goal. So that's unfortunate, but I still have total faith in him that he's going to come good. And Whiteman didn't really have much to do. He had one nice save off a free kick, but yeah, I think that rounds up just about all the players.
From what I
Say that
would
again?
take away from the game is you talk about the senior players, right? They should have been doing better. But it's players like Winks and Delhi, and yeah, they're English and all, but if they're English, not only probably from because he's English, just for the sole reason he's English. And with Delhi, you could get 40 million from him because he's English. You know what I mean? So the fact
Yeah.
that the English rated the price so high, and when they're when they're playing as average is what they did against a League Two side, might I add.
Yeah.
And you have Dane Scarlett and Nal John. Scarlett's like 17 and Nal John's 18, and they just completely outplayed both of them combined. Two youngsters playing way better than Delhi and Winks, and not to mention Nal John and Scarlett are English. I'd sell Winks, get Nal John and Scarlett in there to replace the two, and then just get the money that we spent on those English players, replace them with our English youngsters, and then we have a shit ton of money to spend on players in the summer. It's not difficult to come up with something. It's just Levy overcomplicates it because he wants to save that extra penny.
The only issue with that is, like you said, they're English, so they'd come at a premium. But then we have to replace them with English players who would also be at a premium because of the homegrown quota, and we're already kind of behind on that.
No, but I'm not saying we sign. I'm not saying we sign English players. Use the youth academies for English players, because if you look at I think I saw something that we're among one of the oldest squads in the Premier League. So not only do they add youth to the side, it adds a sense of balance. And if you're able to get strong, commanding players for Tottenham, it's when you had Pochettino, right, for manager, he had a sense of balance. He had some experienced players, and then he had some younger players. And everything just clicked. And to replicate that, you need to start fresh. So you need to sell our Deadwood English players that would still go for a good amount of money just because they're English, because that's where we're at right now. And replace them with the English youngsters, and then any money that we have, we spend on quality for.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. The only issue with that is I think there's like an A squad and like a B squad that you can register for the Premier League and for Europa League. And in that, it's like the B squad is basically like your development players. I think it's either if they're under 23 or under 20 that they can like be registered for that.
Players. It's not.
So yeah, I think that just leaves space for you to sign older players who are
Sorry,
English.
You cut off for me. You cut off for me there. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying basically I think there's an A squad and like a B squad that you can register for the Premier League and for European leagues. And then in the B squad, that's where you register like all your academy players. So we still have space to register like now John, Dane Scarlett, Harvey White, Alfie Devine, if we want to. And then in our A squad, we still need to have those homegrown players. And I guess you could just push the players from the B squad into the A squad and then register more players from the B squad. But I think Nuno will probably want more experience in his team. But I mean, we'll see how that goes. And I do agree with you that our squad is kind of old at the moment.
I'd rather have a non-experienced quality player than a bang average, but who's got experience, because it's okay. Would you take Eric Dyer? He's like 26 or whatever. He's in his prime. He's got some experience on him. Would you rather take Eric Dyer, who's average but experienced, or would you rather take Matthias de Ligt, who's got no experience but is an absolute quality centre back? Now I know that's unrealistic, but that's an example of what I'm talking about. Except it's in a more drastic form. Now John and Scarlett, they have way less experience, but they are better. They perform better from what I saw. and I don't need to see any more because I've seen how good, I've seen how bad, how poorly some of our players have played this season. So I don't need to. It's not like, oh, I need to make sure to watch more games so I know whether or not if this is true or not. It's a
Yeah.
fact because I've seen the entire season they've played the same way, and then Nal John and players like Nal John and Scarlett and Jack Clark and all that. Jack Clark's one that's been really thrown under the bus. I think he deserves a
Yeah.
massive chance in the team.
Mhm.
That these
I think-
types of players, they deserve an opportunity because they've played even against Lee too. That I bet our senior players played average, and then we have our youngsters who are more driven. They want to win more, and they played better. So it's just like I don't know. Tottenham's unpredictable, but I'd want
Yeah.
if it was me as manager, I would be giving these youngsters a run out in games in the Premier League, like Brighton stuff. They deserve the chance.
I think going back on Jack Clark.
Whatever.
Sorry, just really quick, I want to talk about him. I was reported a few days ago, I think, that he said he told the Tottenham higher ups that he doesn't want to go on loan next season and that he wants to fight for a place in the senior squad, which I respect that. A lot of players just want to go and get their first team experience, and I respect Clark for saying no. I'm just going to fight for my place here. And if you remember, that's what Dele Alli did back when we first signed him from MK Dons. When he got back and said he doesn't want to go out on loan, and then he earned his place in the side. So hopefully Clark does something similar to that, and imagine he scores like 18 goals next season. But I think Clark gets a lot of undeserved stick from the Spurs fans. A lot of people talking about 10 million spent on Clark, what a waste of money. Like, we weren't expecting Clark to be breaking into the first team within the first 2 seasons that we signed him. Like, that's not why we bought him. And I know people have been frustrated with him because he didn't get a lot of minutes last season, 2 seasons ago, when he was loaned to Leeds and then loaned to QPR. And that wasn't really his fault. I think it was either Leeds or QPR, I'm not sure which one, that loaned too many players in. And apparently there's a rule that you can only start so many loanees. So Clark just got kind of screwed in that situation where they weren't playing him. And then I don't know why he didn't play at the other club as much. I think maybe he didn't play at Leeds because Bielsa was mad that they sold him or something. And then last season, he really developed with us in that first half. I thought he played really well when he was given the opportunities. And then in the second half, he went on a loan to Stoke. And I have a few friends who are Stoke fans, and they absolutely loved him. They loved him to bits. And then he got that unfortunate injury. And he was done for the season. So I really think that Clark has a lot of potential. I like him a lot. I think he still has to bulk up a little bit. But I think he's just a really solid player overall. And I still think he can come good. But yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, by basically backing up what you're saying. These players deserve opportunities because they've worked for it. They're gonna show the grit. Like if Nuno came in and told Jack Clark that you have to put on weight, right? You have to be top physical shape, but you have to put on weight because you need to be fast and you have to be strong in this league. And you're too brittle. You need to put up some flesh on your bones. He would be eating like hell so he could be starting. That's the kind of dedication youngsters have, and that's what Tottenham need. Because these senior players, they've lost all dedication. They thought, another year of this. When can I go? Or when can I, these are the top senior players that are thinking this, and then the average ones are thinking, yes, another season to rob Tottenham. So it's just, I think, sell these senior players that aren't doing well anymore. Skip Delhi, I'd sell Delhi. Delhi's had too many chances wasted. So I think sell him. Delhi, maybe Lamella, possibly Mora. I don't think Mora, but he's one to debate later on. I know this is a controversial one, but I'd probably look to sell the Celso. Yeah, that's just
we've talked about this quite a bit, so I don't want to get into it again.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say, long story short, we need to sell these deadwood players replace them with youngsters and invest in in high quality players for the squad. Like, if you sell all the players, you if you like, I think we need two midfielders, a creative midfielder and maybe another box to box midfielder, something like that. But you already have some good midfielders. I'd sell Sissoko, Winks,
Yeah.
and like I said, personally, Lo Celso. I'd replace that with Awa, Nal, John, and Skip. That'd be my midfield. And then for the defense, you just go all out. Every single deadwood play you sell, you replace that. All that money invests into a back line. And then, so because you have to build a base, a team off a back line. And that's the reason why Tottenham struggled, is because they didn't have the back line that we used to have. So if we build that back up, then Tottenham could be one to look out for. But until we put investment in, we'll never be a serious team again.
But I see what you're saying. But at this point, I don't think massive investment is going to work. I mean, we've seen it over the past couple of weeks. 30 million plus Davinson Sanchez bid to Sevilla for Koundé. Bid gets accepted, and then Koundé doesn't want to move to Tottenham because he wants to play in the Champions League, which is understandable. Like, I don't blame him for that. And then looking at Milan Skriniar, apparently we bid like 30-something million for him. He rejects it. He tells Milan he doesn't want to leave. He wants to commit his future there. You can't blame him for not wanting to leave a team that just won the title. So I think we have to be smart and look at smart investments and trust Paratici to sign players that are going to come good. Players like Tomiyasu, which, by the way, is ridiculous that we haven't signed him yet. Just pay the extra $2 million, Levy, if you're listening to this. But yeah, I think just we have to make smart signings, and I really think Tomiyasu is going to be a great fit if we finally get the deal over the line. He has a lot of capabilities, and one of his biggest strengths, I think, is his ability to hit long balls. And I think just getting him kind of tucking into a back three when we're in possession, which allows Reguilon to push up and Son to go more central. That opens up so many possibilities for someone who can hit the ball long. If Reguilon's bombing down the left-hand side, Bergwijn or Lucas Moura or whoever's on the right going down the right-hand side, or Son making a run in behind, or Kane checking in to like hit a long ball up to him, and then he can play it through to one of those players. I think that is something that could really come good for us. And so I think we just have to go along that line of just trusting Paratici to make the right signings. So yeah, any signing that get made this window, I'll back it. And I really hope that it goes well and that we finally sign some players. It's kind of ridiculous that at this point we haven't signed literally anyone. So yes, that's my take on it.
We definitely need to get some deals over the line. I reckon for the back line, Tomiyasu, Lacroix, maybe Koundé. If we can get the deal going, then Koundé. But if not, then I don't really know who else. Maybe Anderson. He seems all right. We need to build a back line from young players. And we can't be buying 27-year-olds. Like that's why personally I didn't want to sign Skriniar that much. I wanted Koundé more because Skriniar's in his prime, and we need to invest and play in a back line that can be with us for years, because they need to. Because see, Jan and Alderweireld, right, for demonstration, they've been playing together for years, and then they were almost like telepathic, and they were the best back line in the world in their prime, and they played for Tottenham. So you need to try and replicate that as best you can by signing two young centre backs that have proven quality. You get them together, get a nice midfield in front of them, get them to know each other, and then over time, the whole defense problem will fix itself. It's not that difficult to come up with this sort of stuff. It's just you look at how well we done before with Pochettino and you replicate it. It's not that it's
That's
basic.
The other thing is like the decline from like that level to now, from having the best center back partnership in the league, if not the world, to starting Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer. Like that is just such an unbelievable decline. How Levy let that happen? People say like, oh, well, say what you want about Levy, but he's a good businessman. That is some of the worst business that's ever been done. Letting Jan Vertonghen go on a free, and now we're looking to sell Alderweireld for I think 10 million is what they said. They were the best center backs in the world at one point. It's smart business isn't always just holding on to players. Smart business is selling players when it's at the right moment. We could have sold Vertonghen for 20, 30 million a couple windows ago. The season before Pochettino got sacked was probably the ideal time to sell Vertonghen. I love the guy, totally love him, but we have to sell players when they're worth money. Otherwise, we're going to end up in situations like this where we're broke and the players we have are all crap. Selling Dele maybe would have been the right move for 70 million a few windows ago. Selling Winks for 50 million a few windows ago would have been the right move. Letting Moussa Dembele go for like 12 million, another horrible piece of business. So yeah, I think it just comes down to things like that. And Ericsson leaving for 25 million. It's such bad business. And it's why we're stuck in this point, because we're trying to pay off the stadium, and we have to put all our money that we're making into that, and that's why we're not selling, or that's why we're not signing players, or at least that's what we're supposed to believe. And so
it's funny. It's funny because people would be. It's funny because people would be saying how Daniel Levy should have sold. Daniel Levy done well to get 25 million from Ericsson. We could have sold him for about 40 million in the summer before that, straight after Champions League. List him when he wanted to go. If we wanted to sell him as soon as he wanted to go, we would have got more than 25 million, and he was worth more than 25 million. I can guarantee you that. Right.
And by the way, I don't think this applies to Kane. You don't sell the best player in the world, but at least the best striker in the world. But I think other players are performing well. I think Lucas Moura, people love him. He did amazing things for us, but now would be a good time to sell him. He just had a good season. He's super inconsistent. So because he just had a good season, I think now would be an ideal time to let him go. I think we get like 30, maybe 40 million for him. If we're lucky, 40 million. I think we're likely to get 30 million. And then take that money, throw it straight into a center back, or find a solid replacement. I think Maurice Thuram was going for about 30 million. So yeah, that's just my general thoughts on it. But so our upcoming game is against Colchester, who I am sure some of our players will be looking to get some revenge on. If you don't remember, we lost to Colchester couple seasons ago.
Don't remind me.
Plug your ears. Our last fixture against Colchester was September 24th, 2019, when we drew 0-0 and lost in penalties to get knocked out of the EFL Cup. So that was the same season that the All or Nothing documentary came out, if you're looking for some context. And so people that played in that game that are still at the club, Troy Parrott, Dele Alli, Lucas Moura, are players that would play in a potential game. Parrott, Dele, Moura, Dyer, Tanganga. I'm just checking, looking for more people. Yeah, so that's basically it. But I'm sure they would want to get some revenge on Colchester. So hopefully they all get some minutes. Hopefully some of our more senior players get some minutes. I guess I missed when Nuno said that the last game was going to be more of like rotational players. I hope, I hope we get to see Sessegnon. I hope we get to see Ndombele. Those are the two ones like I really want to see play. But I also would like to see maybe Reguilon for a little bit. Dennis Sirkin, I don't know why he wasn't brought to the game on Saturday, because he's like supposed to be one of our big talents coming through. He's a left back. So probably would be hard to play Reguilon, Sessegnon, and Sirkin. But I'd love to see Tanganga and Skip as well. But yeah, I think overall that's who I'd like to see. Any thoughts going into the game against Colchester though?
Yeah, I definitely hope we tank him. I'd want to
Yeah.
personally, I'd want to play our strongest side. I'd like, well, not our strongest side, but our strongest side of our young players. I'd like to. Can I say the lineup?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'd like to say Hart, Sirkin. I reckon. Cameron Carter-Vickers. Love to see him play again. I think he was pretty good. I'm not sure who else would play centre back, but I'd like to see one of our young centre backs playing as well. I don't know
Probably
who that
Fagan
may
Walcott.
be. Huh?
I said
Who?
probably Fagan Walcott.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I'm not too sure on the right back either. I'm not. I'd like to see
I like
that
to see
right
Peskovsky
back.
play again.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I think he done well. I'm not sure whether or not I'd want to play a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, but I reckon Nuno will go for a 4-2-3-1. So I'll say I want to see Skip, Niall John play, and Ndombele at cam. Left mid, I'd like to see Clark. Right mid, Bergvine, and up top, Dane Scarlett.
I think it'd be harsh to drop. I mean, this isn't like these games don't mean anything, so I guess it's not harsh to drop anyone. But I would like to see all those players you just said play, and then I would like to see like Ndombele and Niall John switch at some point. Because I think Niall John showed a lot of promise. I think Dele was playing. He was just. It seemed like to be just a really off day for him. Because he was playing almost as like in the more withdrawn role, and then Niall John ended up playing kind of in that more attacking role when I think it was meant to be the opposite. But Dele just kept dropping deep like he's Harry Kane, picking the ball up off the center backs. I thought that was kind of odd, but yeah. So anyway, I'd like to see Niall John play in that a little more attacking role again. But yeah, I think that's just about everything I had for us today. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I think I'm alright.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We appreciate you all. Remember to subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit a like button. If you're watching this on anything else, leave a review. We appreciate them. But if they're not 5 stars, don't. We appreciate you all. Remember to follow us on Twitter and on Insta at One Hotspur Pod, all spelled out, no numbers. And we're gonna catch you in the next one. Come on, you Spurs.